What if I told you the Eastern Conference entering training camp looks less like a predictable ladder and more like a pressure cooker? Teams that looked set in stone are wobbling. Young cores are ready to explode. Veteran-led clubs either tightened bolts or left loose screws. Today, I'll walk you through where each key contender stands, which sleepers you should bet on, and the exact early season indicators you need to watch so you can stay ahead of the noise when the regular season starts. This isn't hype, it's a roadmap built from the NBA's own off-season pulse. Let's get into it. Section 1. Why training camp matters more than ever. Training camp isn't just practice anymore, it's the first real sign of direction. After a frenetic offseason of trades, extensions, and staff changes, teams arrive with either clarity or questions. Chemistry, rotation clarity, and early health reports will determine whether a team is a top seed or a play-in candidate. The league's team-by-team roundup shows a conference where the margin of error is thin, and where a single injury or breakout role can flip a season. In short, the next month sets narratives more than any preseason hype. Section 2. The clear top. Who looks locked in? Cavs and Knicks. Two teams stand out in the off-season checklists: the Cleveland Cavaliers and the New York Knicks. The Cavs finished last year with 64 wins and return hungry. Their offseason work focused on shoring up role minutes and defensive help, upgrades that keep them in the team to beat conversation. Meanwhile, the Knicks kept core continuity while adding veterans who provide spacing and late-game experience, and a coaching shift that promises cleaner offensive flow. Those moves land both clubs at the top of most East rankings heading into camp. If you want a short bet on consistency, start here. But even top teams have caveats. Cleveland's ceiling depends on defensive tightening and playoff-level adjustments. New York's success hinges on Brunson staying healthy and new rotation pieces producing in high-leverage minutes. If either team struggles early, the conference opens up fast. Section 3. Contenders with question marks: Bucks, Celtics, Sixers. Behind the top two sit veterans and star-driven clubs with big upside and equally big questions. The Bucks still center around Giannis' dominance, but chemistry with Damian Lillard and depth concerns create pressure. Their window is still open, but less forgiving. The Celtics remain talented but face health and role questions after offseason churn. And the 76ers are the classic wildcard. Match-upable when healthy, vulnerable when missing key pieces. Expect these clubs to pace themselves through camp. If they find rhythm, the East's top tier becomes crowded. If not, seeds will scramble. Section 4. Sleepers and breakouts. Atlanta, Orlando, and the mid-tier shuffle. Now the fun part, the teams that could quietly steal seeding. Atlanta added front court length and a shooter/action player mix that fits Trae Young's downhill game. Health permitting, they're a dangerous dark horse. Orlando made a splash in the offseason, and their defensive foundation mixed with new scoring options gives them upside beyond expectations. Teams like Miami, Toronto, and Detroit sit squarely in the "if this clicks" column. They won't scare the top dogs on paper, but a hot October or a tactical coaching edge could flip the script. The league's team previews highlight these middle teams as the ones to watch for surprising streaks early in the year. Section 5. Player watch list. Who moves the needle in the East? If you want to predict outcomes, follow the individuals. The league's list of the East's top players names Giannis, Brunson, Mitchell, and a few others as the ones most likely to tilt playoff odds, because when these guys play at peak, their teams win more than they lose. Who else matters? Look at second-year wings and newly elevated role players. Their consistency is the single biggest variable for mid-tier teams. Also monitor veterans on short-term deals, A big month from a veteran six-man can be the difference between play-in and playoff. Section 6. Health, minutes, and the first 10-game signal. Here's the tactical rule I use. Watch health reports and first 10-game lineups. Teams that keep their starters healthy and settle on consistent rotations out of camp tend to lock in identity by the time December hits. Conversely, clubs that experiment nightly, cascading tabletop lineups, and rotation changes usually trail in consistency. Pay attention to who's playing 28-plus minutes on a consistent basis, who's getting defensive assignments in crunch time, and who's being trusted with late benches. Those judgments tell the real story faster than any preseason hype. Also, keep an eye on injury news. A star missing 4 to 8 weeks can shift a seed by 3 to 4 places. Section 7. Fantasy and betting angles, where value lives early. If you're tracking fantasy value or early betting angles, focus on role clarity. Players who step into increased usage, bench scorers turned starters, or young guards handed late-game responsibilities are often underpriced the first month. The NBA's Fantasy Preview notes several rookies and second-year players whose workloads could spike early. These are the ones to target before the classroom catches up with the market. Also, teams with improved bench scoring present better backcourt/guard streaming options on fantasy slates. Predictions and closing advice. Quick predictions. Expect Cleveland and New York to occupy the top 2 seeds in some order. I'm backing Atlanta as a top surprise and Orlando as the long odds team that steals a few signature home wins. Watch the Bucks for midseason turbulence. If their depth holds, they're still dangerous. Most importantly, check the first 10 real games for consistent rotations and injury updates. That's where season narratives form. Drop your prediction in the comments. Which East team is your bold pick? I'll be following every training camp headline and preseason game. So if you want daily breakdowns like this, smash that like, subscribe, and ring the bell. This conference is raw and messy, and that's exactly why it will be must-watch basketball this year.